What's up guys, Portable D here with Retro Gaming, bringing you my memories of video stores back in the day. First thing, I am being excessively lazy right now, and that's pretty much because I've spent all day trying to properly record the Wayback Chill session, and everything that could go wrong did go wrong, so I've had to record it multiple times today. Also, I don't know if you guys can see her. I have Rarity now. I told you guys I was going to get her. Use my Rarity alone. So, where to start? The first game I ever actually rented was from a place called Rob's Video in my hometown. It was The Legend of Zelda. And that is because well, he didn't have the actual game boxes for his shit, so they were in like clear plastic boxes, and I was able to see that the cartridge was gold, and I was like, oh dude, that is fucking awesome. So I figured, you know, just based off that, the game had to be good. You know, they went through all the extra effort. Well, little did I know that later other companies would start making metallic games like that, gold and silver. Anyway, this one actually turned out to be good though. So, I rented it, played it over the weekend. But, I mean, that's how it was back in the day though. You had to go and rent games. It was either that or you just took a gamble and paid $50 for it brand new. No idea what you were getting, but no, it was just a cool thing to be able to go into the store and, like, you know, examine the boxes, because some stores back home did it. Like Blockbusters would actually show that, like, they'd have the boxes there. Now, a lot of the things about the NES and SNES that I learned was actually through through Rob's Video, because, you know, back in the day he would show off shit like the 4 score for the NES, the NES Advantage and NES Max, both of which I ended up buying after trying. The 4 score we got much later. And we're playing a game called Gauntlet 2. There were 4 of us. We played it all night. It was fucking ridiculous. There was one on the Super Nintendo, but I only know of one game on that had 4 players for it, and that was the Lord of the Rings. Not a very good game. Even worse with 4 players. I didn't really rent movies, so I don't have any, like, memories of that really, but I mean, fuck, every weekend was like an adventure, because we'd go down to the video store, we'd rent a game, and that, you know, that's what we did for the weekend. You know, whatever game we ended up renting, that's what we had. So as this slowly started to change, however, and they stopped doing NES games and started, you know, supporting the SNES instead, we ended up buying a lot of games through the video store for, well, almost next to nothing, and we ended up with like almost 350 games. And then the same thing when the Super Nintendo was being pushed out because the 64 was out, we ended up with almost somewhere between 50 and 60 SNES games, and like about the same in Sega Genesis games, because all that shit was being pushed out. So, I mean, you had like the Nintendo 64 at the time, the Sega Saturn, I think, the PS1. So it's like all the old shit was already being pushed out, and that's about the time I really stopped going to the video store, because we got a PS1 instead of a Nintendo 64. Or a Sega Saturn and Dreamcast and all that shit. Yeah, those are pretty much my memories of it. Some great games that I ended up playing by renting. Like I said, was like The Legend of Zelda, Mario 2 and 3, Mega Man X. That was how I first even learned about that game. Oh, here we go. One of my favorite games of all time. I actually got through, I rented it, had no idea what the fuck it was or what it was about, because it was only the cartridge, not the box. It was Chrono Trigger. Well, we took it home and we're playing it, because we had it on a 5-day rental that time. Normally it was like 2 or 3 days. But, oh man, it was incredible. That was like one of the best games I ever played. And then we ended up renting Final Fantasy VI so much that the dude, well, it was 3 on the Super Nintendo, but I ended up renting that one. Like every time I had to take it back, I would just recheck it out, because that was just an amazing game. Still to this day, it's my favorite RPG of all time, without question. Fucking eyelashes. But we ended up renting it so much that the dude actually sold it to us for like $2.50, like $2.50, because he was getting ready to pull out all the. This was about the time he was getting ready to pull out all the Super Nintendo games. So, I rented it like non-stop from the time he got it in the store. And I mean, the same copy from the time he got it into the store till the time he sold it to me. So nobody else had ever gotten to play that one. Because we did the same thing with Final Fantasy IV, just not from day one. So he told us, you know, hey, we're getting this game on, you know, he gave me the date, I forget what it was, and told me that if I wanted, he'd hold it for me. And I was like, yeah, okay, let's check this out. So we went and picked it up, and that was the end of it. I ended up liking the game so much, we just rented it over and over until about the time he was going to pull out all the games and start selling them off so he could make room for his for the Nintendo 64 games. He just up and sold it to me. I mean, that included the box and the map that came with it and the instruction book. God, I mean, that game was just so badass. Still is to this day. Even with the you know, all the fucked up shit with the translation and censoring on the Super Nintendo version, I still think it was a classic. I even still play the old Super Nintendo version because, I mean, I don't know. I kind of like the way that the translation was done by Ted Woolsey. You know, that's what I grew up with, so it's like a nostalgia thing. But, yeah, that's all the good memories I really have. I'm not going to go through all the shitty ones because there's too many of those. So, I'm going to go ahead and cut it here. So, keep it retro, guys.